This is Elizabeth Belanger presenting my project on skiing in New England, focusing on the effects of a ski area on local economies as represented by mean and median incomes and homeownership status. On the homepage is the crown jewel of the project, a map depicting New England ski areas as collected from the National Operational Hydrologic Remote Sensing Center GIS database. To these points, I added data about each location gathered from various sources around the web, which have been used to color code each area based on current operational status. Open and for-profit, in green, open and nonprofit, in blue, closed, in red, and open and privately run, in purple. All locations have the year founded, and operational areas list addresses, skiable acres, vertical drop in feet, and the number of trails. Closed areas also list the year that they were shut down. Zeros for any of these data points represent a lack of available data, particularly for private areas. This map, besides showing the locations of ski areas, can also show topography by selecting terrain. As we can see, areas tend to line up along major mountain ranges, with a few on isolated peaks. Furthermore, selecting current snow adds a heat map for snow coverage courtesy of Open Weather Map. This map updates live to show current conditions, making it useful no matter when it is accessed. For my project, I wondered if ski areas had any significant relationship with local economic indicators. My theory was that places close to ski areas would have slightly higher incomes, and that areas close to nonprofit mountains in particular would have higher rates of home ownership. Let's look at incomes first. Looking at incomes, I found the opposite. Ski area adjacent communities have lower mean and median incomes than communities without nearby skiing. The effect was even greater in areas with a nonprofit ski area nearby. These areas, operating as volunteer-run clubs, would serve as an accessible ski location for communities which might not be able to afford ski trips to larger mountains. We can see the distribution on the map above. Only open areas are included, as closed areas would operate as if there was no ski area there at all. On the map, we can see that mean incomes tend to be higher in urban areas, which are not often near large ski areas, and median incomes, while more equitably distributed, do not tend to be high near ski areas at all. Below, we can see further findings and analyses, and in particular, I found that in 2012, 54% of skier visits, defined as one skier or snowboarder riding for one day, involved someone from a household earning over $100,000, up 12.5% from 2008. This seems to imply that skiing is becoming an even more exclusive sport. Now let's look at home ownership. This map depicts home ownership based on the occupancy status. Here we can see the percentage of people living in a house owned with a mortgage, which tends to be high all across New England. Percentage owning a house free and clear, which tends to be higher in rural areas where home ownership is a much more affordable option. And renting, which tends to be incredibly high in urban areas, less so in rural areas such as those where ski locations often are located. Looking at the data also held some surprises. While I assumed renting would be higher in areas without a ski area, because this would include high-density urban environments, I was surprised that, amongst places near ski areas, those near nonprofits had the highest rental rates, 25% compared to for-profit 18.38, and only a slightly higher percentage of people living in a house owned free and clear, a difference of less than 0.1% compared to those near for-profit areas. Further findings, looking at the difference in rental and homeownership rates, are presented below, as well as a summary of my findings. In conclusion, New England communities surrounding ski areas tend to show lower mean and median incomes, yet higher rates of homeownership than communities without ski areas. An interesting follow-up would be to look at western ski areas, which tend to be larger and located in more remote areas, and see whether these trends are applicable there as well. This is Elizabeth Belanger signing off for Geography 167, UCLA.